Hey friends, welcome back to my channel. I'm posting this a little late because we've been moving. As you can see, there's boxes everywhere. We just got back into CC community this past week. We had about a 2-month break. So today I'm going to show you what I did for cycle 1, week 13. I'm just going to cover a little bit about fine arts, new grammar, and then I'll tell you a little bit about what we did for review. I tutor the Abecedarians, so I have 4 to 6-year-olds in my class now. We just added some new students and some students moved away. So that'll be interesting to have that new dynamic in class. So for fine art, I just printed off a very faint outline for the kids to paint after we showed them how to make the chalk and egg paint. But most of them did not want to use this. Most of them wanted to use blank paper, so I just wanted to share that about my class. I'm going to keep that in mind for the next art projects. For new grammar, we started off with geography. We usually start off with geography. We did Western Africa this week. I used this printable I got from CC Connected, which I will link in the description. I'll share as much in the description as I can about the resources I've used. For geography, the first thing we did was I had the kids point and repeat what I said, so we went down the list. After we did point and repeat, then I took them on a fish adventure, so their little fingers were fish. I usually use goldfish, but because I was unpacking and stuff, I didn't have a lot of props. So we used our fingers as fish. We started on the Ivory Coast, which I had colored blue, and that was where we were living in our aquariums. I'm just looking at my notes here. So then we jumped out of our aquarium into the Atlantic Ocean because we wanted to go on an adventure. And we swam around the Atlantic Ocean and swam into the Senegal River, which I had colored pink. Then we went down the Senegal River and jumped into the Niger River because that looked like the next fun river to go into. That I had colored orange. And you can see it's kind of shaped a little bit like a roller coaster, so we went really fast and we accidentally, at the very top, we accidentally fell out of the Niger River into the Sahara Desert where we flapped around because we were a fish out of water. Well, this adventure was way too dangerous, so we had to go back home to our aquariums. So we jumped back into the Niger River, swam into the Senegal River, out the Atlantic Ocean, and jumped back into our aquariums at the Ivory Coast. So we did that adventure once. Then I had them point to the places on the map after I named them. And then the last thing we did was I named them and they used their fingers to erase. Sometimes with this age, doing imagination stuff like that gets the kids super distracted, but it's still fun, so I do it sometimes, but I don't do it too often. Like I won't do 3 imagination things in the new grammar. Okay, so next we did timeline, and during timeline is when the kids eat a snack. So they all get their snack out, I get my timeline cards out, I show them the card, I say the name on it, and they repeat after me. So I go around and say Age of Exploration, and they say Age of Exploration, and I show them the card, and then I put it up on the board, and I go through all the cards and do that. And then once the cards are all up on the board, I'll play the song through about 6 times. Depending on how many kids are in the class, each kid will get a turn to come up and point to the cards in order as it comes on in the song. Next we did math. For math, I drew the gallon guy up on the board. I will try to leave a link of the video I watched where someone drew the gallon guy. So I went through that picture of the gallon guy and said the liquid equivalents out loud while pointing to the different parts on the gallon guy. Then I said the liquid equivalents and showed my fingers as I said them, and the kids repeated after me and did their fingers too. So liquid equivalents. 8 fluid ounces equals 1 cup. And then they repeated after me. 2 cups equals 1 pint. So we did that twice, and then we sang the liquid equivalents to the tune of Them Bones. That goes like this. 8 fluid ounces equals 1 cup. 2 cups equals 1 pint. 2 pints equals 1 quart. And 4 quarts equals 1 gallon. and I will link, or I will give you the name of the person I got that from on CC Connected. Then for English, I just had the kids roll the fancy dice, and we said the compound prepositions in different voices. I had originally planned to sing it to the tune of Jesus Loves Me, but because we had new kids in the class and the dynamic was different than I expected, I always have these as a backup. So we use this and we just said it 6 different times, rolling the dice in different voices. So then for science, I showed them these visual aids. I showed them this card. I put it up on the board, and I also got this printable that I colored in and used this as my main visual aid. So we have the inner core, the outer core, the mantle, biosphere, atmosphere, hydrosphere. So I just explained to them a little bit about what each of those things is, and then I taught them the hand motions for the different elements. So what are some parts of the geosphere? We did core, mantle, and then crust. We did really big, and after we said crust, we went, ow. We took a bite of the crust. And then for hydrosphere, we did this, like water, hydrosphere. Biosphere, we pointed to ourselves because we're part of the biosphere, which includes all life forms. And then for atmosphere, we did this, atmosphere. We did the hand motions through 5 times, and we just did it faster and faster and faster each time. And then if you want to add, I was going to do this but didn't, but you could always do the hand motions and ask the kids to name what you're doing for the hand motion. For Latin noun cases, this is what we did at the beginning. Week 1, we made a cake. For nominative, we do this for subject. So we're pretending like we are getting an ingredient for our cake. For genitive, we do possessive, and we say possessive, and we act like we're being possessive about all the candy we're getting to decorate the cake. Then for dative, we do dative indirect object. We do indirect object, like we're adding stuff to our cake batter. And then accusative, direct object. And we do this really hard, like we're cracking an egg. And then for ablative, we do object of the preposition, like we're stirring our cake. So nominative, subject, genitive, possessive, dative, indirect object, accusative, direct object, and ablative, object of the preposition. Sometimes I'll go around and get the kids to choose different cakes they want to make, but the imagination stuff was getting out of control, so we did not do that. And then the last thing we did was the history song. I showed the kids some visuals that I had. So these are the Kush. Their culture was a lot like the Egyptian culture, and they were in the desert, and they had pyramids. So I just gave some basic imagery there, and then I taught hand motions. So for the Kush, we did this because they were known for their bows and arrows. The Kush mined gold, and we pointed to a ring finger like a gold ring. The Nile River, we did this for the Nile River. And then gold again, we pointed to our ring. For iron, we did this like we were using an iron tool, like a pickaxe or a hoe. And for salts, we did this like we were shaking salt on our food. And for desert, we did this like it was really bright out in the desert. So we just went through the song a bunch and did the hand motions. Then for review, we did follow the leader. I played the preposition song, and the kids followed the leader around the room. The way I chose the leader was whoever could sit in their seat the fastest and be quiet the quickest, because they were all kind of like playing in the room. We had a little bit of time between science and the review. And then we reviewed geography, so I give the kids the map and 1 M&M per review in geography. So first we reviewed Western Africa. We moved the M&M around to the different spots on Western Africa, and then they could eat it. And then we reviewed the Indus River Valley and China. And then we reviewed the new grammar from this week, week 13, and we got to week 8 and 9 to review those. And what I've been doing for review, and we just keep doing this every week because it works. I have these clear cups. If a kid gets an answer right or part of an answer right, they get a cup. I start off by putting 4 or 5 cups in a row on the table, and then the kids can build a crystal castle with the cups. So they each If they get part of an answer right or get the whole answer right, they get a cup. Sometimes multiple kids are getting cups for the same review, and then they build up a castle, and at the end they get to knock it down. But with how many they were getting right, it kept falling down anyway, so we ended up having to put it back together like 3 or 4 times. And then for the last 5 minutes, I play the timeline song while we clean up the room. We wipe down all the surfaces, put everything back where we found it. And that's it. That's a review. So I should be back next week with Cycle 1, Week 14. Hopefully it'll be just a few days from when I post this one. Like I said, things are just off because we're moving. My schedule is different now. So I'm trying to figure out how to fit in making these videos and editing them and putting them up. But I do like creating this content. I love when somebody else has like a complete collection of everything they've done for new grammar up on YouTube. So I'm trying to complete it. I did not do videos at the beginning of the year, but I do have plans to go back and do them. So we'll see if I can do that. I'm not putting too much pressure on myself. I'm just trying to survive right now. But this is fun for me, so that's why I do it. Hopefully I will see you guys soon for week 14. Bye.